Well, it's going to get real gay up in here. It's Pride Month. And to kick off our first episode of Pride Month, I have Jake and Kendrick of the JK But Gay podcast show. It's on YouTube or on any podcast platform. And we had a really good discussion about Heated Rivalry. I'm not a huge fan of it. They did change my mind a little bit. And we talked about if Heated Rivalry will give younger gay men body image issues, navigating masculinity and intimacy in the Latino culture. They are fellow Latino gay men like me. And of course, we talked about Selena, and you might get a little insight on being in the presence of Beyonce. I talk about that. So please welcome to the gay stage, Pride, Fierce, Boldness, Jake and Kendrick. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. We just had a little bit of a dress rehearsal, so now we are all ready for you. And I am so excited. We're going to be talking about Heated Rivalry today, which I have a lot of feelings about, and I know these guys do too in front of me. We have Jake and Kendrick of the JK But Gay show. I've seen it as a podcast. You might have seen it scrolling across your Instagram. They are gay, Latino, and proud, and I'm sure very heated. So please welcome to the stage.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us. We're really excited to be here. Like you mentioned, I'm Kendrick. This is Jake. But if you want to read it like the show does, this is Jake and I'm Kendrick, and we're from the JK But Gay show. Yes.
I love your show. I love it because I agree with it, and it's funny. And you love Beyonce.
I do. We both do.
But you're Kendrick, you're very vocal about Beyonce, which I'm very happy about. Me too.
I don't play about Beyonce, period.
And you love the Queen.
Selena. We're both huge Selena fans.
You both do, yes. Sorry, yes. Jake, not to leave you out, but yes.
No, it's we're almost tied on that. Jake probably a little bit more. Jake defines his life by Selena. I do too, but not in the same way you do.
It was basically like the foundation for me.
Yeah.
Like growing up, it was always Selena, especially in San Antonio. Like that's just.
Yeah.
How far is that from Corpus Christi?
It's about 2 hours, but that's not the thing. Her career was here, right? Like her studios and like all of the music videos and like her shop. Of course, she's from Corpus Christi, but San Antonio is sort of the birthplace or like the epicenter of Tejano music. And so, yeah, that's what actually one of our second episodes is going to be about Tejano music. So, when we go live, you all can see it. But
we'll talk. You're going to have an episode about Tejano music.
We are. Yeah.
I actually just met her sister at the Grammy Museum. They had it.
She's on the exhibit, right?
Her exhibit is there right now. And I went to this pre-party and I was in a Selena video, actually, you all.
What?
I know. I actually forgot because it's been, first of all, I am older than you. You all look like you're in your 20s. I'm going to be 50 this year. So it was right after she passed. It was A Boy Like That. It was one of her random songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her sister, and we had a really great conversation about it. And, just being around that family just oozes emotion and heaviness.
Yes.
So, but we'll talk about Selena at the end of your favorite song. I'm going to ask you all that. Selena Quintanilla, not Selena Gomez, you younger kids.
I have a clip where I say you can't use it. If you're talking about Selena Gomez, don't use that lady's just her first name. Use her last name.
There's only one Selena,
and she's named after her. So
right.
So real quick, tell us a little bit about your podcast, your show.
Yeah, so we're best friends. People mistake us for husbands quite often, or boyfriends.
Yes, he would only be so lucky.
Oh my god! But we've been best friends. Well, we're new friends really since December 2020. During the
COVID. Did you have masks on when you met?
We did. So that's actually a funny story. The reason why we became close, we talked about this in our first episode of the first season, is because he was taking headshots. It was a part of a leadership group that he was a part of, and he was taking my headshot. Mm-hmm. And I asked him when I was leaving, like, hey, will you, on the way, will you make me look good, edit me good, and make me look good? And he did the worst editing job I could have ever imagined. Like, almost cried how bad the headshot was.
Shady.
It was so shady. So I was like, what is wrong with him? Like, does he not, like... is he the type of gay that's going to be mean to me? And then I think he said he wanted me to like him. So that's why he just like, he didn't mean he's barely starting on Photoshop, but you know what? He's transitioned. He edits all of our show now. And we're
you
good.
Do the editing?
He does the whole thing by himself.
Yeah.
That's hard. That's hard to do. I know that.
I've grown to like it, and I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
From my first time doing it with Kendrick or the Photoshop.
Yeah, but to answer your question quickly, we're from the JK But Gay show. You can find us on all platforms at JK But Gay. And our podcast is really about us being friends. We knew very early on that we wanted to do our podcast about gay friendship because we realized that we're outliers and not a lot of gays have best friends that are also gay, that are the same age, that, you know, that they can relate to. So we had people ask us all the time, right? Like, how are you friends without wanting to sleep with each other, without there being drama, without your husband's being an issue? And so we're like, we're going to start a show about this because it seems like there's a lot of people that want to talk about this. So that's
well, how are you friends without sleeping together?
Well, at the time when we started the show, we hadn't. I'm kidding. But you know, I think because
that's a whole other one. Open marriages, relationships. Right.
No, I think because we met as couples and we were already established in our relationships, and so we only came into the relationship as friends, right? And just grew. Like, I don't even like saying that you're my brother because I'm closer to you than I am to my brothers. So it's like, right? And so it's like we had this bond of like
cousins.
we talk about how you know, we don't believe in soulmates because you can have soulmates in situations with other people that are platonic, right? And so I think we just do it because I don't know, why don't you sleep with me?
Well, and how old are you all?
How do we look?
I said 20s.
Oh, you did. So Jake is a little older. I'm 33 and he's 33 as well.
So I think
we got that nice skin. We're Mexican.
The Korean skincare routine, Hudson. Actually, I don't have Korean skincare, but we're also like between us four. So both of us and our husbands, we're only 3 months apart. Yeah, like we're all four of us are 3 months apart, and I think that's also what makes it like easier. Like we have so many lived experiences that are really right on par with one another, and we're able to relate in that way also. Yeah. As friends.
And this is going to be a good conversation because I'm trying not to feel bitter and jealous that you're 33 and both in relationships, but it's kind of there. And so
this is going to be good than I did, but
this is going to be good though, because maybe that's why, you know, when I reached out to you all, you had a good experience with Heated Rivalry, and I walked away not feeling good. I am from an older generation, so of gay men, of body image issues, of you have to be muscular, of going to WeHo and only seeing white, beautiful, ripped men and steroids, and then jumping into bed real quick. You know, so much. The list goes on and on. So. I think this is sorry.
Already, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Our biggest episode was about body image, so we can definitely add some.
And here's a question: do you feel I stopped at the third episode because I couldn't even go forward? So I know, my friend who is a straight girl she was like, you have to watch this. I did, and I just was like, I'm not into it. Like, this isn't real. And do you feel it's going to give younger gays body image issues?
Oh, that is a fantastic question. And honestly, it could. I think also just because like from my own experience, like when I see men like that, right? Like when I watch Heated Rivalry, I'm like, those are gorgeous men. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, and this is my own experience, like I personally don't think I'm going to ever look like that, but I've also worked through I've gone through a lot of therapy myself to kind of go through my own body image, issues that I have. And I know I have them, but I'm at a level where I'm able to kind of, you know, watch the show and still really enjoy it from my own perspective, but also know like, I'm like, not even a lot of people don't look like that. Majority of people don't look like that. Like they're like literally a very small population of men that do look like that. And so in that sense, it does take it out of a little it does take the reality out of it a little bit. But I think overall, I really enjoyed the show. But I mean, it could create some body image issues if I'm being honest.
Kendrick?
I think so. I think the reason why we have positive experiences watching it is because we're watching it sort of post therapy, right? Of knowing how to consume things. And so that's what I think is the reason why we sort of feel this way. And we also know and understand, and like I said, we talk about this in the show, that we are blessed to be born in the generation that we were born in, right? The generation before us went through things that we can't even imagine or can even sort of begin to understand. And so I can see why other generations that are older than us can see that. I think, this it's being taken over by like millennials, right? Like millennial women are the ones that are really loving the show, but all women are loving it. I mean, I feel like straight women are absolutely love this show. And so that could be a reason why, but yes, but I do think that the generation coming after us is a little bit more resilient than we are, and when it comes to consuming media. So I think that they're able to kind of put a filter on that too. But of course, if you're dealing with those issues, it can kind of seem triggering at some point to see that a lot. But I'm trying to remember whatever, because we both talked about the show, and he was like, "It starts so slow." Remember, you told me.
Yes,
he's like, "It starts so slow."
Well, they didn't go slow into bed. I mean,
once they
didn't start slow.
I didn't get the very first time I watched it. I got really annoyed because it would be like February, and then it would jump to March, and then it would jump to like May, and then like it was just a little bit.
That's budget. They didn't have a long budget to shoot all that, so they just skipped over.
Right. Yeah. And then once it got to that heated part of like them getting in bed really quick, then I won't lie. I was kind of like intrigued at that point. I was like, okay, maybe I will watch it.
So for you all, is it more fantasy than reality when you watch it?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So see, that's kind of, I think, what it can be. That's good. That's why you walk away with it. I feel for me, it's fantasy to me now. I think I used to believe that was reality when I was pre-therapy as well too.
Yeah.
So I get concerned because there's not a lot of media out there anymore, especially with Trump, that administration, living out here in LA, the amount of being in TV and film. They're not greenlighting shows like Boots that much anymore. All those other shows that were on, we were just barely starting to get seen like inclusively. I love that movie, Good Grief. I think that movie is very inclusive, with Daniel Levy from Schitt's Creek. So maybe that's what it is why I put a lot of responsibility on it, because there isn't that many shows right now.
That's actually the start of our friendship. Was us Pose together. Pose was one of the, like, that show was just like, let's kind of listen to this and watch it together. But I think the difference is like, I am seeing it elsewhere. I'm having the same thing with you. I think in our podcast, we're having that, right? We have people that have similar podcasts than us, and they were like, y'all launched at a time where brands aren't looking for you. People aren't looking for you. And so I definitely understand where you're coming from with that, because we're feeling it.
Yeah. I think also it like, as far as you mentioned like with the administration, with like what we're going through now, it's kind of disheartening. And then seeing something that blew up like Heated Rivalry, that makes it for me all even more so like, yes, like I want, like, let's do this. Cause it was very, what's the word? Not streamlined.
Popular,
mainstream. It was mainstream. It was very popular. It was very mainstream, and I love that because it was really going against everything. A lot of other things that we're hearing, which we all don't like, and we all, I don't agree with. So I'm just like, even more so, it was kind of like almost like a middle finger to what's going on, and I think that's what also made me like it even more.
Did you see Boots?
I did. Yes.
To me, that's a big middle finger.
That is
because it's military.
Or military. Yeah.
Netflix?
Yes.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Did you see that, Kendrick?
No. I don't watch a lot of TV, which is actually really funny. But watch my show.
But you watch Dance Moms.
Yes. Oh, I did watch Dance Moms. That was a very different time in my life.
With your niece.
I love Dance Moms. I think I was telling you earlier before we started recording, was like, I bond with my nieces over that. That was our show. But yeah.
Check out Boots, because I think to me that's a little bit of a bigger middle finger, because you're dealing with the military. I mean, I guess Heated Rivalry deals with sports. So, there's that. Right. But you're also dealing with the lead is more feminine. I think what triggers me is that all these men, to me, are masculine, very masculine presenting gay men in Heated Rivalry. Do you feel that?
Even when they lean towards the feminine side, like Kit, they're still ripped in a way that you're like, this is not realistic. That was the only thing. But I guess for me, I related to it. I played sports for 6 years. Football, basketball, track, it was what I did.
Look at you.
I know. It was my past, but I understood that nuance of having to hide who you are to be successful in a sport, right? And obviously, I can imagine that's times 1,000. But also understanding that they didn't have the resources that, like, a professional hockey player would have resources that not normal people would have, right? Or an everyday person would have. So, yeah, I think I related to it very early on. So I think that's why I stuck with it. Connor Story is actually from West Texas, where I'm from. And so immediately I was like, saw his interviews before I saw the show. And so he was talking about what it was like to grow up a creative kid in West Texas. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to listen and support. So a lot of that was, I think I came in with that bias already of like, but there are some things that I think I was critical of like throughout the show. But I think that's probably where my sort of bias came in at the beginning.
You both said post-therapy. Since you all are able to sit back and relax and enjoy with your husbands and boyfriends. I'm fine with that. Just kidding. No. How do you consume that type of media now better? You said you consume media better now regarding body image issues. How do you do that now post-therapy?
I think for me, like specifically about like when I watch a show with my husband, we were able to like really enjoy it. But then I also knew, like, and my husband and I, we've been dating for, 13, 14 years now, and we've been married for 9. And so it's like when I'm watching it, it's like it's on, and then when it's not on, it's like, okay, this is the relationship, and this is what I'm used to. This is like my life. This is how I manage everything in my life, and it never. I'm lucky enough and privileged enough to know that like what was happening on the screen, wasn't going to like bleed into my life specifically.
It doesn't make you feel pressure to have a body like that for your husband?
I mean, that's a fantastic question. And I don't think the show did that. I don't think the show, I mean like that, but I agree. I was going to say,
or like, maybe you had that, I already, in my head, it makes me put pressure on if I'm dating that I have to look like that. And I've worked on that a lot, but it definitely triggers it again.
Oh, yes. In that sense, yes. I have a lot of triggers actually as it relates to body image.
Me too.
Like, I could be on Instagram and like see like a gorgeous man or even woman, heck, for that matter, and like then I'm like, now like I feel
like I want skin like that, and it's Angelina Jolie.
Right, but then my husband and I, like I mentioned, like we've been together for a while. I've been going to therapy like since I've been married. So like we have that communication to where he knows, how I need to either cope with things or deal with things, and how he also fits into those coping mechanisms for myself of like reassurance or whatever the case may be. But it's definitely different, I will say, being a married man. Yeah, because like I don't have that pressure to look like that for someone who I don't know. Like if I like going on a date, I don't know how that feels. Mm-hmm. And so I'm definitely biased on that sense, just because it's been 14 years since I've been on a date. And
wow, that's amazing.
Like, that's just how like I'm very lucky, I will say, to not have like, I don't know how it is. I don't know what it is to be on an app. I don't know what it is to like meet someone on an app. And
damn, not the shade.
Did you meet your boyfriend on an app?
I met my husband on Tinder.
Oh, your husband I met.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. I mean, he became my boyfriend, but yeah, I met my husband on Tinder.
I didn't. Yeah. Oh, well, okay. I'm on Tinder. Yeah. Okay, good. That's good.
That was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
That was 8 years ago. So it's been a while too. But I think we talked about this too. Yeah. I think we have that experience because we're not particularly looking to be desired, right? In a way that like to get a partner, right? Mm-hmm. Like we are already desired by our partner before we come into this. So I think that helps us a little bit on how we're consuming the media. Now, did I want to, before I had a relationship? Yes, I want to be desired. And I think now we want to be desirable, right? That's the struggle, right? That you have, but not allowing it to, I think the way that I think about it is, for me, I kind of have to tell myself honestly, and I'm a little, and we talk about this in the show, I'm a little bit competitive in the sense that like, I will find something that I'm better at than this, right? I'm like, yeah, but I don't want their relationship. I don't want to be hidden. I don't want to be hidden from them. So I don't, of course they look like that, but they have to hide their relationship. So I'm not worried about that. So that it's a little toxic, but I do it. It's my coping mechanism.
No, I think it's more toxic that they're hiding it. I mean, that's another part of the show too, that I think is toxic. And you were in sports too. So that's why you're competitive.
Yes, we're both competitive. You're just as competitive.
I'm competitive, but like it becomes an internal thing. Like where I'm like really hard on myself to be like, okay, well I need to.
Oh, yeah, you're about fixing yourself, not competitive and I'm better mentally.
Right.
Yeah, I'm more like Kendrick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm just like,
it's the way I get through things, right? Like I've developed it as a coping mechanism because I know that there are a lot of things that sound amazing. I mean, I would love to have a cottage. But, I wouldn't have to hide my husband if I had a cottage. You know what I mean? And so those are the things I think about. That's what I tell myself. Yeah. You didn't get to the end. So at the end, they're able to like be together because they're in a cottage where no one can find them. And it's like this multi-million-dollar home. And so like when I see that, I'm like, oh, I would love to have a cottage that's beautiful, but he's hiding his man. Like, no, I don't want any of that. And so I'm able to just consume.
So that would be good. Do you think any gay representation is better than none?
I want to say yes.
Actually. I do think there are some lessons in the show. I do think there are some lessons in the show that work. So there. You probably didn't get to the part with Kit and Scott.
Is Kit the one with that was making juice and he looked like he was a soccer player with like huge legs and glutes?
He's like the most. I think he's the most beautiful one. If I could be shallow for a second.
And he's like not even he's not a barista. Like the barista.
Dang,
he's a barista.
No, I'm not. I'm definitely not. But it's just like you have 4 people, 3 of whom are hockey players, like professional hockey players, and then you have one who works at a juice bar,
and that's how they meet.
But like, to me, he's the hottest.
Yeah, but I think for me, there's a scene where he's sort of being hidden from him. Right, the whole episode in the show is about him being hidden.
I got to that one. It's the third one.
Yes. Yeah. And so it's probably closer to the end of the season, but there's a moment where he's dancing with his friend, where Scott is dancing with Kit's friend. And he tells him like, you cannot do this. Like he doesn't deserve this. And he's the one that walks away. Kit's the one that walks away. And so I liked that being the lesson of like, you shouldn't have to be hidden. And so it depends what you take from it. And I think the things that I'm worried about and the most is what straight people are going to take from it, because I don't want them to think that, oh, everybody's happy when they come out and things are great when they come out. And if they were to kiss on the ice skating rink after they win, that his career would be fine and he'd be able to become MVP. Like that's
look what they're doing. Right now during the Olympics, those two, I forget her name. I think her name's Amber. She's a lesbian figure skater.
Yeah.
And they're really she's very vocal about being out and she's getting like death threats, right? Like as we speak. So
Right. So that's the part I don't want them to take away of like, hey, this is things are okay. And, we've turned a new leaf. It's like, no, if anything, we're showing you just the areas that are most vulnerable, right? Where people are seeing most vulnerable. You're not really seeing it in sports. It's there obviously in sports, but there are people who never get to the professional level that deal with this, sort of every day. And so, I think there's lessons like that you find that I'm hoping people are taking away, right? You should never be hidden. You should never have to be hidden from who you are, especially if you're out. You shouldn't be doing it to accommodate a man, which is what was happening. And they sort of showed that full circle moment. But I think that was, I liked finding those moments in the show as well.
And reminder to those, because I have a lot of moms and dance dads that are probably listening that are straight, that love the gays and probably love Heated Rivalry, especially dance moms. They seem that's very their audience. But it's fantasy, not reality. Like we just said earlier, if you look at it that way, it's not always happy like that. And I think that was my problem. I was telling my neighbor that this is our show. And someone like that, like her, she has a plethora of shows. She has a fantasy show of being straight. She has The Bachelorette. She has all these shows to pull from, to pick from, some fantasy, some reality, some drama, some inclusive of women that look like her, that aren't blonde hair and blue eyes. I don't feel we have that. So I think that's, in my opinion, where the responsibility does come on with the writer, with the people doing it. And maybe too, as you all are speaking, because those sound great, those lessons, is that if they had, I feel as though it's only white men, correct?
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so maybe if they had different body types, different races, I would be more willing to, it wouldn't trigger me as much. So maybe it's not the content, it's what I'm seeing.
I think it's the angle of hockey that complicates it for me, because there aren't people of color welcomed in hockey, right? Like it's not a space like that. And there aren't a variety of body types in hockey. And so I think the hockey angle allowed them a space to say, this is why we're able to do this. And that's when I, if I was in the room, would have called bullshit. But I think that gives them sort of a crutch, if you will, and not hold them accountable. But I mean, you've obviously been in those rooms way more than I have. We don't even know what those rooms look like. Yeah. But knowing,
they look like your backdrop, not mine. Yeah, no, I think, that's definitely something that is too, again, this change with DEI. I don't even like saying that word because they've just made it so negative. I like to say, Pete Buttigieg says they support uniformity, exclusion, and inequity. So he uses those like it's UEI. So in the light of or I don't know, you heard what I just said, everyone. In light of all that, we're not in power. That's the issue too, is where if this person that wrote it and directed it, I'm not saying that they didn't do that, but I think if you're at the top and someone's saying you got to change this character, they got to look like this, then you're kind of at the mercy. So that's why more gay men and women not need to just be in the room. They need to run the room.
Mm-hmm. Especially if it's a topic about us.
Right.
Right. Thank you. See, we know what's happening. So who do you feel the show is made for? Is it made for straight women or gay men?
I think it's primarily, I want to say primarily gay men, but for some reason, I know a lot of heterosexual females that really love the show. Like one of my coworkers, we talk about it quite often, and she's straight and she's married, and she has her husband watching it, and I'm like, I love that. Let me rephrase that. I think that's who it captured: gay men and straight females. I want to think though that the show itself is for like the straights, whether that's men and females, just because like, as Kendrick mentioned, or as we were talking about, as far as like, kind of a false reality because of like what's really going on. I want them to see like there's happiness at the end of the rainbow, pun intended. But like there's happiness in relationship, like whether it's gay, whether it's straight, or whatever it is. Like it's that's what it is. Like there's love in it, and I that's why I want to say like it should be for them, although it's captured the gays and the girls.
The gays and the girls.
Yes.
Yeah. And maybe too, because of how hot the guys are. That's what my straight girlfriends will say. They're like, I love watching, them like they're, there's definitely ass shots everywhere, and so, which I don't know. I mean, I guess that feels good that they're honoring that type of, I guess it feels good anyway that we're being seen, but just, I was wondering.
Straight men don't look like that either. Like if we're being honest, like straight men don't.
That's why they watch it.
Right, which is probably, the reason why they watch it. But I think, like I said before, I think I came in with some bias because I know that it was probably not made for a demographic like me. But when you have characters from a place like where I'm from, right, I'm like, it captured me in a different way because of that. And like I said, I came in with that sort of feeling.
So did your all's relationship start like episode 1? Only I'm saying it was so heated right off the bat.
At the beginning, I told you we haven't had sex yet. But
sorry, I'm just saying because I wish they would do a movie about your relationships. I mean, to me, that's more meaningful, more authentic, more helpful to the community. More of the reality. So that's why I asked, like, how close was it? Similar, them meeting? Was there any similarities in your relationships with any of those characters?
Oh, I don't think so.
I think for mine, the only similarity was like I wasn't completely out when I met my husband.
Okay.
And so in that sense, yes.
I do remember that on a podcast.
Oh, you were talking about when we met our husbands or when we met each other?
No, your husbands.
Oh, sorry. No, you got it right. I got it wrong. Sorry. Lots of similarity.
This is why people think you're together, Kendrick.
Sorry. You said y'all, so I was like, all right, this is us. Yeah.
But yeah, no. So that's like, as it relates to my husband, like I wasn't out. So there was that sense of hiding him from my parents. Cause for me, that's who like I hadn't come out to yet. Like there was friends that knew about me and there were friends that knew my back then boyfriend. Or someone that I was talking to at the point, like or at the time when I first met him. But as it relates to like being in the closet, for me, that's kind of like how we started. I was still in the closet because I hadn't come out to my parents yet.
So you feel it resonates with men that are, if they turn on the channel and they're still in the closet, it could maybe help them.
If they watch it through, yes. Because I like, as far as they went. I mean, I didn't even know this watching it, but the show itself from episode 1 through 6, I think it's like 8 years.
That spans a long time.
Like it was absolutely not that long for myself. Maybe 8 months, but I also don't want to give that. It's gonna be okay to do this for that long, because for me personally, I find. Like, I remember finding so much joy and so much relief when my parents did finally know. And of course, it was still a roller coaster at that point, but I didn't have to hide anymore specifically. And there was just so much joy. And for those who have watched Heated Rivalry, at the end, episode 6, it was very much that, like that relief of knowing like my parents are there for me.
And I'll make sure to let everyone know in the intro that we're going to give tons of spoilers, obviously, because I am okay not seeing the end. I will now, more apt because you all are doing a good sell of it. Was your husband not out as well?
He was.
He was. Okay.
And we had 2 vastly different coming out stories. His was relatively easy, and mine was more difficult, but now everything is how I would hope it would have turned out. But that's how it differed for both of us.
Yeah. And I have my experience of up until recently, being with men that are not out. That's kind of my, I don't want to call it.
I was going to say, where are we going with this?
I don't know.
Put my interviewer hat on.
What?
I said, I'm going to put my interviewer hat on.
Well, no, I'm just kind of saying to understand, where are we going with this? Is just that maybe it is good for him. We don't speak anymore because with that comes a lot of breadcrumbs and no commitment, but there is love there. So, kind of like I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn about Heated Rivalry and cross over to the goodness because I want to enjoy it. So maybe it's not, maybe I'm not the audience.
One thing that I think that it didn't say explicitly that I think would have been helpful is the safety message, because I think a lot of us consume it and say, I didn't have to worry about that. I came out at this time. I didn't come out at this time. But if someone is in the closet or not out or doesn't even know that they are having these, this is who they are, then I think it leaves out an important part of like it's implied, right? Of course it's safe for them because they're the biggest stars in the hockey world. They're able to, be out by themselves and still maintain their lifestyle. But I think their lifestyle isn't like soccer. But I just think that they could have done a better job of explicitly saying about the safety aspect, because it's different for everybody.
They have a lot of storylines with their most men that I know that don't want to come out. It's because of other men, not women. It's usually meaning wanting to be accepted by other straight men, in that group. Did they have a lot of that interaction of between other hockey players? Like it's totally cool or did they still feel accepted by them?
Yeah. So I think that there was one that came out before him, and that's when it started. And I think that that's what I meant by they implied it, because the main character, Ilya, didn't feel like he was okay to be with him together in a way that wasn't sexual until that player came out. Then that was the moment, that come to the cottage moment. And so that was sort of like the pinnacle of the show. I think that's when people on social media lost their minds when he said that. And so I think that they were implying it, right? That he finally felt safe. But I think for those type of things, you have to be explicit.
Especially now with this whole masculinity, I just, there's such conversation about what's masculinity, what's real masculinity. Young boys, young men don't know, what masculinity is, and being gay I've said this before. I don't think men have a problem with gay sex. I think they have a problem with the femininity of being gay.
Well, and what the femininity means, right?
Yeah.
I think their definition of femininity is a little skewed, if you ask me.
For sure.
And I think in Latino culture, it's something we talk about too. We have an episode specifically about machismo, and we talk about that, right? There's so much of that angle, and the machismo culture doesn't affect just the men; it affects the women, and that's why with our coming out, it was harder for our moms than it was for our dads, and it was but that's very common. There are a lot of Latinos that will have that story. Our husbands had that story, not so much your husband, but my husband had that story of like it's always harder on the moms because they're also entrenched by the system that has been built around them.
So I love this quote. I saw it somewhere, but I said, gay culture teaches you how to have sex with a man, not how to love a man. So does this show model healthy emotional intimacy between men?
Not yet.
I don't think
like
I'm so hopeful for season 2.
No, it's not that. It's that's the reality of the way that a lot of gay relationships start. I think.
Yeah.
I think
like
that's how they
part of it.
That's how it starts, right? We can talk about how you met your husband.
We can.
But not the full story. But what I mean by that is just that, that is the reality, that it's kind of complicated at the beginning, but there are things that happen along the way, the lessons that you can pick up from there. But again, I think that I'm taking those because I'm in a situation where I am not learning those lessons in the same way that I would have been even 10 years ago.
So when you say not yet, you mean the show isn't there yet?
Right.
Do you feel the show will get there?
I believe so.
Because it's a book, right?
Yeah, there's like 6 there's 6, and then there's going to be a 7th book coming out in the fall, I think.
She wanted that check. She was like, I'm going to write another book. I finished this already, but I'm going to write another book.
I guess for me, it's just, I wish, someone that still does date, and, I've had boyfriends in meaningful relationships. But you keep, and in straight men too, they have this issue, is just emotional immaturity, that is just something that keeps hitting a wall with, and I guess I'm hoping more for that they do go further in that, and there is some more maturity and more media, definitely more films, more TV where you see that, because you all are married and committed. Emotional maturity goes hand in hand with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's actually why we started the show. We started the show for that reason, because in media and even in podcasts, we weren't seeing people that looked like us, that were able to tell the stories in a way that we weren't going to talk about. For lack of a better term, we love our partners and our friends and other podcasts, but we're not going to talk about sex and the hotness of sex all day long. We'll talk about intimacy.
right.
but it's not going to work, and what it means to grow as an individual and the things that we face. But that was something we came together and said, let's create that. This is a space. There are similar spaces, but there are not a lot of Latino spaces like this. Right. And that's what we wanted to fill.
Yeah.
I love that. Do you feel the show challenges traditional masculinity or reinforces it?
Reinforces it.
So see, these are the things like I get sad about, but how do you, so here would my question, and you've kind of said this, but what do you love about the show?
I've said a lot of that.
I think, well, kind of, I'm trying to like put it into words of like how I'm feeling as far as like the show itself. I think there are toxic items that are in the show. Yes. One being like, I'm going to use like from my own lived experience, right? Like the fact that they have to hide one another, and it's like 8 years of doing that. And it's like, you only have, you know, when they get together, it's like kind of like that, the love or distance makes, I don't even know the phrase. Distance makes the heart fonder. There you go. That phrase.
Fonder makes the heart.
I will say things backwards. Like, you have no idea. But I think in the show, like it's very much that, right? But then when you add on the reality of things, of being gay and being scared and being in the closet, like for someone who is not married, I can understand why someone may take that and be like, okay, even more so, I have to be worried about something as like this. I have to be worried about coming out and being accepted by whoever is around me, whether you're in sports, whether you're, you know, or whether you're not, whether you're, you know, I was a band person. So like being around like band people, you know, like in high school and things of that nature. Or
what'd you play?
I was in drumline actually.
Oh, nice. Okay.
He's really straight.
So
what'd you say?
I said he's really straight, but you can be gay and be in the drum line. You're proof of it.
Hey, there's straight guys that are still there in the drum line.
Yes. Oh. No, they mainly are. No.
Mainly, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
well, he was, and then he was. I don't know if you know, but he went to the University of Texas. Not if you know, but if you know the way they look, the way they dress in the University of Texas, they dress like in full cowboy.
Yeah.
Look like they're wearing a cowboy car tour. Like it's full. Yeah.
Cowboy, not chaps. Bolos.
Chaps.
Yo, some people are in chaps. The ones that are carried.
They're not cheerleaders, but the ones that are managing like the Longhorn, like Bevo, like they're in chaps. But I forgot where.
Sorry,
I got distracted. That was me. I got excited when you said you were in the band.
Can I ask you a follow-up question if you don't mind?
I did band. Go ahead.
So I said, can I ask you a follow-up question if that's okay? I want to know, because you said you don't want people, or if I understood correctly, you said you don't want people to watch if they're still in the closet and get the wrong message about not dealing with their masculinity, right? Do you really think that people that you're dating are like they're consuming media and that's who they're hearing from? I'm not saying that it's not true. I just want to know. I want to know more about that.
Yeah, well, I think what I was saying was no. I was trying to think like maybe they should watch it.
Okay.
You know, but I was saying just for us, you know, because there is a lot of. I mean, there's so much shaming still. I think, at least in West Hollywood, of. Not as much, but could be more. It could be more generational. It could be generational, but as far as femininity, we all were.
That's a
definitely. Being gay men, there's still some shameness over being feminine. Mask for mask, that whole thing.
Yeah, there was that video I sent you of the guy on West Hollywood, and you can tell the way he talks about being feminine. It grossed me out so much, because I think we are both really in touch with our feminine side, but then also with our masculine side, right? Like it's just different. It's just who we are, but in our definitions of that. But seeing them do that in like a place that's much more progressive, I'm like, oh, they're just like us.
Yeah, it could just be my experience too with WeHo. Obviously, everything's really heightened because of Los Angeles.
Yeah,
look wise, everything in general. Even for gay men. So maybe I should just move to Texas.
Oh, he's like, let me move where the ugly people are. He's like, y'all lucky, y'all ugly bitches.
No, I didn't say that. No,
if you watch my show, you know I'm back at
relaxed and comfortable and just being, not constantly doing. I will say though, back to your question, Kendrick, is I think it is good for men that are having an issue with masculinity, because it makes them feel safe to come out. And then season 2 can deal with their issues with femininity.
Mm-hmm. And in season 1, you can see just the bullshit of masculinity, of toxic masculinity, right? And I think that it allows them to look at that and say, you see how ridiculous that looks? You know, like you see these moments and how they're hiding themselves, and they're at the pinnacle of what they're doing with their lives and still having to hide this. Like it portrays the ridiculousness, I think, which is helpful as well.
Yeah.
Because we're being fed that masculinity. We're being fed, I believe, even more so now, even if we're not consciously of what, I mean, if you look at ads for Marines now, or men in the government, or more so than before, you know, than the past maybe 8 years of that. So I'm a little bit more aware of that. I can see myself getting a little uncomfortable with the femininity, which I kind of go, what's going on? You know,
hang out with us. Well, we always do it to each other. I'm like, we're good.
I love how I'm saying that with my rhinestone hat and
with your Selena shirt, your pink background. And I'm like, okay.
Like I'm having an issue with femininity, but I think, those men are, you know, I know men that are in the closet, you know, I won't say his name, but you know, he was starting to consume a lot of Joe Rogan, a lot of, Elon Musk, you know, but was, you know, definitely gay, bi, pansexual, you know, I do believe he was more pansexual. So that, I just, so I could see him liking this show and him being like, okay, that's me. And I'm a little bit more masculine. So I'll come out now.
Sorry for like turning all the questions on you, but I really
No, it's a conversation.
Yeah.
And you have a podcast and a show, you're allowed.
Yeah. I do this a lot. But when you say that you are dating or you have dated a lot of men that are not a lot of men, you've dated people in the closet. And so what is it? Did they just happen to be in the closet, or was there something about their masculinity that was attractive to you is what I want to know.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's totally me wanting to be accepted by straight men, you know, like from being little. I know it's that type of wound. Yeah. Thanks, Kendrick. You're just going right in.
No. I wanted to know. We talk about this all the time.
Bye, y'all.
I talked about this all the time because I like when it comes to my type of desirability is that I want someone to want me exactly how I am, no matter what, right? And so if I don't, I would feel sort of empty. Not that you should, but I'm like, for me, I would feel empty if I was dating someone like that because they couldn't fully accept me. And I know that's how it was, but that's who my husband was in the closet when I started dating.
It's also emotional unavailability. That goes hand in hand with in the closet and gay men sometimes. So when I look at it, it's only one that was in the closet, but my other two, I mean, I love them. You know, we just were younger, and you know, I'm emotional. I'm emotional to you, and I want you to be emotional to me. And I really work hard on being okay with my emotion.
I think that's something we talked about it too on the show. Remember, like because you were defining your masculinity as not.
Yeah, I'm really bad at showing my emotions.
Are you afraid of emotion?
I love it.
Are you afraid of emotion?
I was definitely I grew up in a household where like it was basically not okay to cry.
Yeah. Mexican culture for sure. I was too.
Very, very that. And like, it was my mom. My mom was the one that was always like, all right, get up, like keep going, you know, type of thing. And it was always kind of like, let's go, let's continue, let's do good, let's be great. And so now I have a very hard time to be like, if I need to cry, I have to be like alone. I have to be by myself. And you know, recently I had a day where I was just like really down, and it was hard for me to just like let it be. And so I was harboring it, which was only making it worse, because then I felt like I couldn't function basically.
What would that, so is it because you feel like you're not going to be productive and do anything?
I think it's a mixture of that and also just like, it's not okay to cry. Like boys don't cry type of deal. Like in a nutshell, but it all stems a lot from my childhood.
Yeah. And I think a lot of gay men have that because we were raised by straight men and women. We were raised by straight people. You came from your mom. So, but that majority comes from men.
Oh yeah. And my dad, like looking back at it, I didn't know, growing up, I didn't know what it meant, but now I look back and I'm like, my dad was more in tune with his feminine side than my mom is. And it's like,
yeah, it goes to that point, right? That toxic masculinity affects the culture, not just men
in general, right?
Do you feel that Heated Rivalry is passionate or emotional?
Passionate. I think it's passionate, much more than emotional.
And I wish it was more emotional.
I think as the season progressed and he was talking to himself, I think even coming there's a scene where what's Hudson's character's name?
Is it the tall one? Which one?
Elia and
the one with the dark hair?
Shane. Yes, Shane. Hollander.
Yeah.
So where there's a moment where he's dating someone, he's dating a woman, and he comes out to her and says, like, she actually like pulls it out of him. Right. She's like, I think like, it's okay. Yeah, she's like an actress. Yeah. And she's like, I work with a lot of actors. Okay. I can see this. I know what's happening. Don't worry about it. So she kind of helps him. And so that part, he was really emotional. Remember, because he says, I don't even cry like this with my parents.
Right.
Like, and there's a moment where he was really emotional. So there are aspects of that, but that not being able to be emotional is a part of the reality. And so for me, that's why that I see it as like, you can take lessons from it, from where you do, but not everything has to be a law or a Bible. Right. Yeah. And so I think that's where hopefully people are able to take those lessons the way they are, but that takes emotional maturity, at least to a certain level. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it does. Do you, I'm one that I've learned to grow into this, is that I feel, sex without love is dangerous, and that doesn't mean I have to be married either. Everyone, people start thinking that usually that's what I mean, but, cause I feel it also too, if there's not commitment, it's dangerous. It can feel dangerous because sex feels good. And then if you don't have the emotional capacity to know, like, this feeling's going to go away, somebody's going to get hurt. So, and I also feel that, again, back to that quote, that gay men are taught how to have sex, but not love a man, at least out here, maybe in Texas.
Now, you think...
worse. I feel like it's way worse here.
How do you feel? Did you feel that they celebrated jumping into bed so quickly?
Going back to what I was saying earlier, as far as like love, I'm gonna mess it up again. Distance makes the heart grow fonder. There you go. I really think that I don't think they made a mistake by doing that, but I do think that the way that the show is portrayed, as far as like, they go weeks, months, years sometimes between seeing one another, and that I want to say like that distance really does make the passion grow for them. And so when they see each other, that's like, it's kind of like all or nothing, because they know that they're not going to have another chance to see one another for a while. All that being said, I do think because they do that there is this level of emotional immaturity or a lack of emotion, so to speak, between them two, that it's also portrayed in that sense, because they also like don't know how to communicate that well with one another. But it's not until there's a scene where Ilya basically confesses his love for Shane, but he has to do it in Russian because he's still scared of what Shane might think, and he doesn't want to scare him off. But I think
Shane, kind of run, Shane, run.
I also too want to ask your question again, because there was something in there that I was like, I want to push back on.
Do you feel they made it look? I know I've slept with people right off the bat, and I've gotten really hurt. So do you think they glamorized it? That whole process of them just jumping into bed, where I wish they would have maybe gone to dinner or grab a drink and then.
Yeah, I think so. I can see where you're coming from. I think the first time you said it, I had a sort of a different reaction. I think for me, I don't want it to believe that that's the only way that you can fall in love with somebody, right? Of what you're saying, like the opposite of that too. because there are plenty of people that are able to have sex and not have intimacy, right? Now, if it's coming from the right place or not, but I think that that's a reaction to starting so late, right? Like we talk about it on the show too, that I think, a lot of gay men are promiscuous, but I also never, whatever that means, right? Like I don't ever put people in a box like that, because they weren't having the experiences that straight men were having in high school. For me, not even college, right? They weren't having that same. And so everybody's on a different path. Everybody's on their own journey. And so I wouldn't want it to seem like there's only one way to fall in love with someone, or to reach that level of intimacy. And I think that's really the divide, right? That there is a lot of sex in the show, but there isn't a lot of intimacy. And that's the part where I am able to separate, but I know that a lot of folks, that's where I think it's the most dangerous.
Yeah.
Yes, because sex, I love Marianne Williamson. Do you all know her?
I'm not familiar.
Like
she ran for president in 2020.
Okay, I don't know. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. She used to do a lot of lectures out here, spiritual lectures, and I would go, my ex and I would go. And she said that sex is a deepening of communication, not used. How does she say it? She says it so good that it's a deepening of a communication, not a void of communication. So if you're not communicating and you're just having sex, that's not a way to connect. It's a deepening of already your communication. And again, maybe this show is just not, I'm going to be 50 in 6 months. Maybe it's just not for me. Maybe again, I wish they had. Have you all seen Good Grief with Daniel Levy?
No,
I don't think
it's on Netflix. It's with,
is it? I also got to a point.
His boyfriend dies in a car accident in the very beginning. Okay, it's a Christmas movie.
Yes, I've seen it.
I got to a point recently where if it's like a white gay lead, I'm like, this isn't for me, and just don't even watch it. So that's probably where mine's coming from.
Okay. But you're watching Heated Rivalry.
Right.
I had to tell him actually.
But right.
I had to be like, go watch it.
Yeah. And but I think, like I said from the beginning, the reason why it was because I could find something else to relate to. Like this person is from this really small part of West Texas that, not a lot of people are from. That. And so that part, I think I said that. Like that's where I was like, all right, let me go into this, but and kind of see where this goes. But if it's, for the most part, I was sort of over it.
What watch it. Because of me, I feel the most. It was the first time I saw it 2 years ago, 47 years, that I felt seeing myself as a gay man. Like I was like, oh, that's how I think. That's me. His character of Daniel Levy. I know sometimes people say I look like him because of the brows, but that has nothing to do with it. Just in the sense of, and they were in an open relationship. And I personally am not one that, like I said, that's a whole nother podcast, but I still enjoyed it. It doesn't have to agree with everything I'm saying. I just felt it was very authentic and emotional about him grieving his husband who passed. And check it out, Kendrick. I feel you'll like it. And maybe put it in Spanish subtitles.
No, we're more than a language. I'll tell you that. When we start as the no sabo kid here,
as a coconut, as we were talking about earlier,
we don't have to know Spanish to be a part of the culture, but it makes it much better.
So I'm going to play this real quick because I think he is like my enlightened self, and hopefully I'll be able to get it in. But if not, this will be a good question that we can. And I think I showed it to you all before, but
Guys, we're going to talk about Heated Rivalry and why it feels so good to watch and why it's quietly not that great for us at the same time. I'm Brian, a gay therapist working with gay men. First, let's talk about why this show hits for us. It gives a lot of gay men something we rarely got growing up, which is intensity and desire, and two men who want each other really badly and obsessively and don't have to change who they are in order to choose one another or be chosen. For nervous systems like ours that learned love had to be hidden and earned and fought for, that kind of passion feels electric. It feels validating. It feels incredibly alive. The rivalry in the show makes the longing they have for each other feel meaningful. The secrecy makes the desire feel special. The push and pull they have reads as chemistry instead of anxiety. And if you grew up associating love with tension and hiding, this kind of story doesn't just entertain you. It feels familiar. It feels like you. Now, here's the part we need to slow down and look at. What makes Heated Rivalry compelling TV is exactly what makes it a very risky template for real relationships. The show centers intensity over any kind of attunement. It centers longing over emotional or physical availability. The conflict is at the center. The repair is not. The characters work because we, as the audience, get reassurance along the way that they don't get in real time. We know that the love is mutual. We know where it's going. We get to trust the arc. But the characters are just hanging in there, waiting in that tension. In real life, rivalry plus secrecy plus emotional withholding does not usually turn into epic love. It turns into anxious attachment. It turns into men confusing nervous system activation for chemistry. It trains us to tolerate emotional distance and volatility as long as it's wrapped in this really intense passion. Then zoom out even further, and there's a community level cost here. Stories like this reinforce the idea that gay love has to be hard in order to be real. It reinforces the calm is boring narrative. The consistency means settling idea. It's shoring up the idea that mutual availability.
So I think you kind of get I didn't know he went that long. But what are your thoughts on what he's said so far, either of you?
For me, I think it hits the way that it does, and I'm able to consume it the way that I do because I don't see it as a template. That's the part I think stuck out to me the most. I think if you use it as a template, then, and if there are people using it as a template, then I'm like, oh shit, like that is not good. This is not where I'd like to be, because he talks about the three things, right, that it takes that aren't a good match in the relationship. And I'm like, the reason why me and my husband are so compatible, the reason why me and you are compatible as friends is because our relationships are the opposite of that. And so I think that it opened my eyes a little bit when I saw it, of like, okay, we're not competitive with each other,
right?
Where we are really emotionally available with each other. And so there's all those pieces that kind of work for us. So I think that was the part I took away from it the most.
Yeah. I think also, like, looking at it, I was 19 when I met my husband, right? Like, there's so much different that I see in the show, that, like Kendrick mentioned, like, I don't necessarily like take anything from it other than like really enjoying it. But when I see this video, right, like I can imagine, right, like someone who's
hearing that all the day.
Yeah, like seeing that every time, it's like, okay, if you're gonna have a, let's use the long distance relationship, for example, right? Like when you're together, it's very hot and intimate, but when y'all are apart, like it's just texting or calling, and it's never like
consistent.
And then, once you start to live together, that's when you really find out who the person is. I've already been through that. And so I think that's why I know, like, this is, for me, it's like a show and it's really entertaining, but I can see how dangerous it could be for someone to be like, this is normal. This is the way it's supposed to be. But that's also why I'm kind of interested for season 2, because I do think that the way the season ended, I think there is going to be a connection as far as like that emotional availability or that emotional growth between the two in season 2, hopefully. And then also kind of seeing like the way that they grow as a couple, I think will make it a little bit more realistic.
And again, back to the beginning, hearing you all, I think that's what it is you all are thinking it as fantasy. And maybe it's because you all are in relationships where single gay men, where some of us aren't. And that's where the confusion can happen. And so we're dating those guys that are thinking that, that this is the template.
Right. And I think one thing that makes us beautiful, at least our relationships and a lot of gay marriages and relationships that I know, is unlike straight people who oftentimes, as their relationship gets further along, they lose that spark. I think for us, I never want to be the person that I was when we first met or have those feelings, because now we're in a much deeper place emotionally and our communication at sort of a next level. And so with the show, I was okay with it because I watched the show and said, yeah, the beginning is really messy. The beginning of relationships are really messy. We are not truly ourselves. We're trying to figure out what the masculinity part means, who is, playing what role, whatever that even means, right? And so for me, I saw it as like, this is a part of the journey. but I can see how others wouldn't. But I think that that's something I'm blessed with in my marriage, and you too, of like having that, to know that, you know, there is that evolution. It does get to a much, much better place from where, because I can see their story and say, actually, there's a lot of this that I do have in common with from the beginning of my relationship, but not a lot with what we have now.
Yeah. What would be then since you all are both in committed relationships, to those single gay men, what would be your advice to them in dating and finding a partner?
Oh, that's hard, because a lot of what I did was, a lot of what my husband did was put up with me, and sometimes you shouldn't put up with me. Sometimes you should allow me to be.
So compassion, we call that compassion, Kendrick.
Yes, understanding, and communicate. I think
communication is key.
Yeah, and it sounds weird, right? It sounds so
communicate
cliche,
what though?
Everything. My husband doesn't know if he knows everything about me. Now, I've heard people talk about a little bit, if like, you know, to be transparent, like he's not there like digging for stuff, but I don't ever want him to be surprised about anything. And so when you're that honest with somebody, then you're not scared of anything. You're not scared of the way feelings are going to be taken, or the way that things are going to turn out. So communication is definitely key. But I think, you know, a lot of that growth, and know that there are people out there that share the same values that you do, that share some of the same beliefs that you do. And sometimes you just gotta, for me, I got really lucky to find my husband young, and you did too, right? I mean, but what would you say to, like, I don't know, I haven't dated in so long.
I know communication is key. Communication is key is like one of my go-tos, and like Kendrick said, it's very cliche, right? But it's like, it really is like, and I've, you know, been in a 14 years at this point relationship with my husband, I wasn't always communicative. Like I didn't communicate well, you know, and I will be open and honest to say that, until there was a certain time, you know, going through the relationship and growing also, my own self, and going to therapy and things of that nature, that really helped me to be more open with my communication with my husband. And it has just made things a lot better in all aspects of like our relationship itself. The other thing I would say is like, really, and you kind of alluded to it as far as like growing with the person. Like the person I was 14 years ago is absolutely like, I'm a way different person than I was 14 years ago when I met my husband. And if he wasn't going to grow alongside of me and, you know, be accepting of my growth, we may not be where we are today.
I also think
commitment. That's commitment.
Yeah. I also think something I sort of say about my husband a lot is that we're also like, he is not my other half. We are 1 + 1, for lack of better terms for Beyonce, equals 2, right? We're two individuals that happen to come together and have a marriage, right? And we are, and there isn't, it's really important to have your own life. My husband has a career that is very different from mine, but we sort of cheer each other on, and he is my number one supporter. I'm his number one supporter. And I think that makes a big difference, because then we're not relying on each other for each other's happiness.
Right.
I'm taking notes.
And never settle. Never settle. Sometimes if
I'm so good with breadcrumbs, I can live a life off of breadcrumbs. I've done it for years. I know, but I'm better. I got rid of the breadcrumbs. I want some flan. I want some legit cake.
Some choco flan?
A churro. You know, I'll take a churro. Give me a churro and I'll stay. No, but that's only because of, and I feel I can say this is, you know, my father was pretty emotionally unavailable. So I can thrive in those households. Like, this is amazing. I lived here 18 years. I can sing and dance for you. I mean, maybe that's why I started dancing. Now so when you all communicate, you even communicate your feelings?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So like, give me an example. Okay. So like, you're going to coach me, Kendrick, both of you. So I'm feeling mad that you didn't come see my mom when she's visiting, and you already had plans, but I'm pissed because you should change your plans to see my mom. That's in my mind.
I agree.
So how would I express that?
This is my value system. This is the way that I grew up. And to me, when a family comes around and this is what, then you drop everything and this is what you do. That's actually why I love my husband. My husband will drop everything he's doing for my family. And without being asked, but also not in a way that my family also doesn't take advantage of that. Yeah. So I think that that's a reason why it would help. But that's why I needed to find someone who had my same sort of value system but also was willing to break from that, because there is some toxic masculinity stuff that my husband does. We both know this. That I've had to be like, I have to stop him and say, let's think about this and think about why you're doing this. And it's not always easy. Most of the time it's not.
Yeah.
So how would I say that to them? Like, I'm feeling annoyed that you're not coming. Just like that?
But I don't think annoyed should be, because you're not annoyed. You're sad that he doesn't want to enjoy the same things that you enjoy, and that means your family.
So say it that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
If it's annoyed, it's like, why is this guy being annoying? It's my boyfriend that's doing something annoying. No, this means a lot. You mean a lot to me. You mean a lot to me, and my mom means a lot to me. And so when we're in presence together, this is how it's going to work. Yeah. And
oh my God, that's so good. I feel because that's a true story.
That's the JK show. We're on every platform.
No, who knew you all were going to start giving relationship advice?
Yeah, I mean that's what we talk about a lot on the show, and on friendships too.
Okay.
We're like that with each other. We're like that with each other, where I'm like, hey, I need to tell you why you annoyed me at this point, and you know what it meant to me, and knowing why it annoyed me. I'm trying to think of something. What can I think of?
And not through text.
Never.
No.
That's another thing. Everyone.
That can be interpreted
now
so many ways.
What happens to me is when you hurt my feelings, shut down.
Right.
Boom.
But sometimes it is a lot of liquid courage. It is some liquid courage to get it started.
Yeah.
But it's to like lower that barrier. But then we will also like talk about it, you know, and I'm trying to think of something that you annoyed me with. You annoy me all the time. But like, there's just certain things. No, the show has actually been really good. There have been moments.
Yes, but I mean, making a show can be very stressful.
Yeah, certain topics and like certain things, and and we had to learn to trust each other in a way. But we're much closer than a year ago. I feel like I know you way more than I did a year ago. Just in growing the show together.
I hope you all. Well, I hope we all too. Mine too. But get more Mexican gay visibility. You know, and hearing our how we deal with things, how we wanting to see, like you said, you don't watch stuff because you don't see yourself in it.
Right.
You know, and to hear our point of view, because there's a lot of gay, fierce Mexican queens out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot out there, but I think it's so those things. So, but always call me. I'm always willing to give relationship advice. Give me a call. Well, I will FaceTime with you anytime. 555.
What's the area code in Texas?
We have a lot, but in San Antonio, it's 210.
210-555-LOVE.
Yeah, that's what it is. Or you can just watch the JK Bouquet show, which
do that. Hey, I got some good advice. I showed my mom the one of you because I have a cousin like this. It's like, where are your kids? And you're like, when you get custody of your kids.
My mom was really funny.
Oh my God, that's so your cousin.
Am I like this in real life?
Real life.
Like I'm actually worse in real life. Right? Like I feel like I'm worse in real life. Why are you laughing?
Because you're just real.
No, but it's not. Sometimes it's a lack of a filter, which I need to work on. There's some things I need to work on, and some of it is that. But yeah,
not with those family members. I know how they are. Not with them.
Yeah, and we talk a lot about family, and yeah.
When you pay your child support, then I'll get a kid. Or you can pay for mine.
Yep.
We're going to close out a little bit.
Did your mom laugh?
Of course she did.
Okay, that's all that matters.
We kind of laughed, and then she was like, my mom, she laughed. She was confused. She laughed more about Beyonce though, because I'm the same way with Beyonce.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we should be on your podcast, Beyonce.
No interviews, but
come on, help us out. We're
trying to get there. We're trying to get there, but I already have my line set. I know exactly what I would tell her.
What's your line?
It's actually really emotional that her song "Schooling Life" saved my life. I was going through a moment where I was not sure I wanted to be here anymore. It wasn't a thought that I had often, but it was because I was gay. And I walked into a supermarket in DC outside of the waterfront, sort of metro station. And when I walked in, I was just sort of feeling really down. Schooling Life came on, and I was like, this is my sign that things are going to be okay and my life is going to be better. And yeah, that's what.
Oh, wow. That's meaningful.
So yeah, that's what I would tell her.
Jake, anything?
I probably would freeze.
Yes.
Say hi.
That would be me. I'd like, hi. Like,
Hola.
Very strong. Literally, my husband speaks no Spanish, and the moment he sees her close up at tour, he starts speaking Spanish.
He was like speaking in tongues. Yeah.
What is happening?
He was speaking in tongues. I love it. What's your because you all seem very, for your age, grounded, meaningful, emotionally mature. What's your, I know you're Mexican, were you brought up Catholic? What's your spirituality, if any?
Yeah, we were both Catholic. Yeah, both raised Catholic. And
Are
actually,
you still practicing any religion or spirituality?
No, it's funny. We talk about this in the show where I sort of see myself always Catholic, but I think it's the Catholic guilt that's telling me that I can't see myself by anything other than that. But definitely consider myself a more of a spiritual person. But yeah, it's a complicated relationship. I think my coming out story to myself happened at the Vatican. It's something that I remember deeply, and so
at the where?
At the Vatican. Yeah, it was during confession. I was in confession. It's in our coming out episode if anybody's listening. And I confessed that I was gay, and the priest sort of pulled me out and said, "You can't confess to something that you can't change." And it sort of started my trajectory of coming out. And yeah, I'm really blessed.
That's like a good priest, right?
Yeah.
Thinking of he didn't. That was amazing that he said that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's deep. I love it. Now we're going to talk about Heated Rivalry again. No, going from that, but I love I like that. And you said it's in your podcast about coming out.
It's our coming out episode. So that I came out to myself that way. That was how I came out to myself, or I decided that I couldn't. A lot of my growing up was how can I change this? And after that, it was like, I don't have to change this. It didn't make me sort of want to like release it all and tell everybody, but I knew at least to myself that that was the moment I think I started loving myself.
One word to describe how Heated Rivalry made you feel, Jake.
Ooh. The first word that came to my mind was passionate.
Entertained.
Kendrick. Same?
Entertained.
You're helping me able to watch it now. Because you said the entertainment thing.
Yes.
It's working because it's I even had a question here. Does it make you feel understood or just entertained? And maybe I should watch it from an entertained place and I can be able to swallow that peel. It makes me feel, in this moment, I guess grateful because we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
And even in that and analyzing their relationships, there's some movement and growth, and at least in me, hopefully in some people listening, and also people realizing how important it is for us to be seen when there's not a lot of stuff, because we hang on to a lot of it all. So, remember to vote for people that are really inclusive and love all and want us all to have our voice. Okay, Jake, your favorite Selena song?
Fotos y recuerdos.
Say that again.
Fotos y recuerdos. That's hard to say, actually, really fast.
Can you give me like a line? I'm trying to remember what it is.
No.
Okay, kind of.
No, that's a different song. Yeah, that's La Llamada. No me vuelvas a llamar. Yeah, I'm sorry to hit you. That's actually really fun. Do you speak Spanish?
Muy poquito.
Okay. La Llamada is such a sassy song. I love how sassy that song is. But yeah, that's the one.
What's your favorite, Kendrick?
Mine is No Me Queda Más. So that actually was filmed. The whole thing was filmed here in San Antonio. So I have my moment on the stairs, with the thing, and yeah.
You go there?
Oh yeah, it's like a pretty common place. Yeah, in San Antonio.
Sunset Station.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, mine would be. I feel like this is a cover, but Y Solo Tú.
Tú Solo Tú. Yeah, it's a cover of
that version of her. Her version is so, and See Una Vez.
That's what he said. I shamed him into changing it because the first time you said Como la Flor. On the show, you said Como la Flor.
I think because I was like, that was the first one that came to my mind, but that's just because it's probably the most popular. But I do love See Una Vez.
I think See Una Vez it's not my favorite, but I think it's her best song.
When she has that, I like when she sings it in that gown and her hair looks like this. It was a live performance. She was so, she was singing at some Tejano Music Awards. I I know it's a random way
No. I'm asking of all the random moments. Like my favorite of her is when she did it at Carnival in Cancun, where she's wearing like the see-through. You can just see her bra under, and she has the bun, the really tight bun. That's my favorite of her doing that. It was like 2 weeks before she passed.
So we're liking favorite. So that was your favorite costume. What's yours, Jake?
Oh no, it's my favorite costume. I loved her in that song. I'm a huge fan.
No, I love it.
I don't know actually.
Mine's the red. Classic red.
I like the blue version. So she did the blue version for its exact same outfit, but the blue version of the red one that I love. But I also love the hat, the one she did at the rodeo, where it was like the bedazzle. It's like his hat. Like
yes. Mm-hmm. Was it the rodeo?
At the rodeo. That's Houston rodeo.
Mm-hmm. And it just was found out today. Her album is being inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame.
The one she won with the live.
No, Amor Prohibido.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's being with a bunch of it was announced. I think there's 10 of them that their Tupac's album, her album, come next year. It's going to be in the Grammy Hall of Fame. So I'm sure her family is rejoicing.
No, we're huge fans. You know what would have been amazing? Did you watch? I'm sure you watched the halftime show. If Gaga would have sang Selena, that would have been epic.
Have you seen the picture of an AI of him dancing, salsa dancing with Selena?
Yeah. Yes, I saw that today, and I was like, oh.
Yeah,
I know.
But no, we're huge Selena fans. If you ever want to talk about Selena, just bring it our way.
I will give you my everyone favorite. Go watch her. Okay, what's one of the boldest things you've done, Jake?
Ooh, I honestly feel like starting the podcast for me because I'm
pretty bold.
I'm a very private person. I say that now, and literally, I've let everything out during season 1. But no, I mean, I still consider myself pretty private. I think before a lot of episodes, I come in very anxious because I'm like, what am I going to say or what am I going to do? But ultimately, I get to that point where I'm like, I want to be able to help somebody. And if that means sharing my story and being a little bit uncomfortable, then that's very useful for myself.
Well, you are. So keep being bold. Kendrick, what's one of the boldest things you've done?
I'm going to add the same thing, and mine was for different reasons. I think I navigate my life in sort of safety mode, and I don't get into anything unless I know for absolute sure it's going to go well. And we didn't. Yeah, we didn't know. We knew we had a valuable product. We knew that we had something great, but we never knew we couldn't predict the reaction that we were going to get from other people. And so that for me, it was really scary at the very beginning. I think it was really scary to kind of see how do we adjust it along the way. We do everything ourselves. We do all the editing. We do all of the, it's all done by ourselves, the social media clips. Yeah. And so to learn along the way, it was like, all right, we're going to do this and see how it works out. And I've said some things on the show that I've never told anybody, like even the show about the thing about the Vatican, and so, yeah, I think that's the first thing that comes to mind. I'm sure there's some other bold things. And I think coming out, I think is just a really bold thing in general. And I think that's a part of what I want people to take away from Heated Rivalry as well, is that everybody's coming out is unique. It's special to them. We might have commonalities within each other, but that simple act of coming out in a world that is not accepting of you is brave and alone and in and of itself. So I just wanted to finish with that.
And, I normally don't, this is a conversation. The listeners will know how different this is, the format of it, but I normally don't say what the boldest thing I have done is, but I'm going to say it.
Oh, I wasn't going to let you get off. We were going to say, no, it's a conversation.
So then go ahead. You got to ask me.
So in the same vein, what is the boldest thing that you've done, or the first thing that comes to mind?
Expressing and feeling fear.
How so? When did you do that recently that you were like, this is bold?
I mean, daily.
Yeah.
Fear is there daily, especially in doing this and health, getting older, there's more. I have to get a colonoscopy and I'm feeling so gross about it. I'm just scared and, and so, but, and then being in front of cameras and, I have since I was little, but there's still fear there. And I think similar to Jake is, mine was not don't cry. It was more don't be afraid. So coming to that as I get older to really just love fear and boldly feel it because it doesn't always feel good.
I need to get there.
And boldly share it with people you feel safe with. So thank you for making me feel safe and for pulling me over to the other side of being entertained by Heated Rivalry. Where can everyone follow you and see you and experience you?
Yeah, so you can find us on every platform at JK But Gay. So that's just the letters JK BUTGAY. You can find us, if you prefer to listen only, you can find us on Apple and Spotify. But if you care to see us sort of in full screen, you can see us on YouTube. And we're on Instagram, TikTok, and what am I missing?
Shorts.
Yeah, YouTube. So yeah, follow us. We talk about everything from culture. We spent the first season talking about us and who makes us who we are and those topics. But we're going to be bringing on guests in season 2, a completely new set, completely new environment. And yeah, we're excited. We're excited to bring the energy and all the lessons we learned in season 1 and to keep learning and keep helping and keep growing others as well.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having us.
Adios.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Dance Dad with John Corella. Thank you to everyone at Hivecast for all that you do. And if this episode meant something to you, please share it and subscribe. Also, you can follow Dance Dad with John Corella on all platforms. But most importantly, remember to be bold and be fierce.